Hello, and welcome to the tube. We're mic'd up. We got the audio set up, and I'm going to take you through a little day in the life. We got legs on the docket today. We are peak week, 5 days out from the WNBF Calgary, and I'm going to give you a little run through on what we're doing on the day by day. Now, I started my day a couple hours ago. We're already pretty well stuck in at this point. Check-ins, walked downtown, did some errands, had to drop off some film at London Drugs, get that developed, and grabbed a coffee, did some chilling, journaling, planning out the day, and now we're back home. Meal number one. Let's get into it. Meal number one is going to be 100 grams of zucchini and 100 and... Nope. It's going to be more than that. It's going to be more than that. I think I do not have enough extra lean ground beef here. That might be a problem. Morning supplements. I don't know what I'm doing with myself. I'm losing my mind. Welcome to the kitchen. Morning supplements. What I typically do is I start my day with a liter of water. Blam. Hydration. Aminos. Hydration mix. Green supplement. Glutamine. Creatine. Nailed it. I mix all this into my 1 liter, slam that. I have a nice little espresso on the Nespresso Pop. A little double, and that gets my day kick-started. That is important because I've been in bed for 8+ hours most of the time, so it's been a while since I've had some water, so I like to start off my day with a liter of water. Get yourself hydrated, and then all of my morning sups I have in this nifty, cool little travel thingy. Pop the lid open, bing bing, spin it around, dump out your pills. Super nice, super easy, super convenient. Keeps it all in one because I don't know about the rest of y'all. I do not like opening 13 supplement bottle lids every single morning. So I recommend something like this. Make your life easier. Make your life more efficient, then you're wasting less time doing random shit. To start the day off, we need to first dry off the stove because this pan is wet. To start the day off, I measure out my salt and low salt. I was noticing some muscle cramping, probably as a byproduct of how depleted all of the food is, or how depleted we are right now, as well as sodium and whatnot. We're dialed, baby. Don't ask me about this scale, please. I needed a micro scale, and I know it looks like some cartel looking thing. It is not for cocaine. It is for measuring out my salt, because I definitely know my regular food scale was not accurate. So we're going to zero that bad boy out. We are doing 4 grams of salt and 2 grams of low salt because potassium is important, and I was definitely not getting enough of it before because I was noticing some muscle cramping, which is not what we want. And this, I'll take that. That'll do. That's 4 grams. Yeah, so low salt is lower sodium than standard salt, and much higher potassium. So 4 grams of regular salt, 2 grams of low salt, and that makes sure that our sodium is in and our potassium is in. 6.02. I will take that. Let me give this guy a little shaky shake, little mixy mix. And then I just disperse my salt across all of my meals throughout the course of the day, which on training days is about 1,610 calories. So let's get stuck into that because your boy is nice and hungry. Meal number 1. Holy jeez. Destroying the kitchen. Meal number 1 is gonna look like 100 grams of veg, zucchini, veggie of choice. I like that with ground beef. Gives a nice little sear, nice little. And then I'm putting 2 meals in together because that's just the way that I like to live my life, which is about 275 extra lean ground beef. Oh, if you have the time, cook your food on a pan. It's just better. It's more enjoyable. Tastes better. It's like a little treat to yourself. If you don't have the time, rip the microwave. I get it. It makes sense. Try to live our lives as conveniently as possible. No shade. I do it too. But right now I have the time for it, so that's not the right element. Right now I have the time for it, so I figure I might as well make every meal as tasty and yummy as possible, because the other thing is 99 legend. The other thing is I have way too much time in my day, and if I do everything as quickly and efficiently as possible, there's just a lot of time to just be sitting around hungry, and your boy is hungry. So if we slow things down a little bit, we enjoy our food a little bit more, and then we have hopefully a little bit less time where I feel like I'm starving. I'm not starving. Some people actually are. We're just hungry. Let's not get dramatic. I have nice ASMR YouTube channel underway. What am I doing here? To be completely frank with y'all, I have kind of no idea what I'm doing. So my plan with this is just, for the most part, to kind of do a regular day and just kind of yap while I do it, which is, for the most part, what's just going on inside my brain. Now I'm just being vocal with it. So if a lot of it is useless and not relevant information, then unfortunately that's just the way she goes. Also, dark days. I do not have enough extra lean ground beef, which means I need to go do groceries and cook more for today's meal. So, pivot. We are just doing one meal, which is going to be 175 extra lean ground beef and 100 grams of veg. So my my next meal, actually, no, let's do something kind of crazy. 150. You know how pathetic that is. 150 grams extra lean ground beef, 100 grams of veg. That will get our day started. We've already measured out our salt and our low salt, so I'll sprinkle a little bit of that onto here. And that will be meal numero uno. Chef it up. Seasonings at this point are pretty bare bones, so for the most part I just do cinnamon on literally everything. It is crack, it is fantastic, and if you are in a diet phase, you probably should still use spices. People get a little weird with it. I don't understand why, what we're doing. If you're in a kitchen and you have access to seasoning, i.e. you live literally anywhere on the planet, you should probably use seasoning in your food. We've kept things very simple at this point, coming into peak week, so meats, proteins like chicken, beef, cooked with no seasoning, just to create a little bit more consistency from a sodium standpoint, because if you start, what I like to do, heavily season all of my food, you run into a bit of a dilemma in regards to your sodium intake, because I have definitely added probably 1 gram to 5 grams worth of sodium from seasonings. For example, classic Clubhouse. Heyo. You slap a ton of that on your chicken, and next thing you know, you're looking at a lot of salt over the course of your day. Adds up. So what I choose to do is just season my stuff with cinnamon, which you might question. You might say, hey man, that's kind of goofy. That's kind of weird. I don't get why you're doing that. But don't knock it till you try it, alright? I had some people at the Vancouver show raise their eyebrows at me when I pulled out my chicken and rice and almond butter and slapped some cinnamon on it, but honestly, goated combo. So, like I said, we've got our stuff all measured out for the day, so we're just gonna slap a little bit of this on every single meal. Next thing you know, Bob's your uncle. Yum yum. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but eating food and watching content, I feel like, is a bodybuilding staple, almost mandatory at this point. A distraction. A little. I've seen some people chat about not doing that, you know, being a little bit more present with your meals, enjoying them a little bit more. I think it's neither here nor there. I try to be as occupied during my day as I can, and if I can be as mentally occupied as possible, I don't notice other factors. Granted, I have heard and seen some people talk in regards to, like, I mean, if you're sitting there and you're saying, man, I'm really hungry, or man, I'm really tired, you're probably going to feel more hungry and more tired. But if you just acknowledge the fact that this is a process, those things are usually indicators that your body is trying to strip weight, lose body fat, and they're good things, then you can just kind of lean into it a little bit more. So I try to get as much of my stuff done as early in the day as I can, because I've just woken up, I'm rested, I front load a lot of my caffeine earlier in the day, and then titrate that out as the day goes on so I can still get a good night's sleep. So overall, I think the way that I've structured my stuff out keeps me busy, keeps me distracted, and I just try to lean in on the if I am tired or I am fatigued or I am hungry. Those are good things because those usually translate to body weight shuffling off, which is what we're trying to do. So last night, pretty gassed by the end of the day. Had a great night's sleep, woke up, dropped 2 pounds. Mission success. That's what we're trying to achieve here. So overall, peak week is pretty simple. I think a lot of people overcomplicate it. A lot of people try to manipulate too many variables. I think if you're in a position where you are lean enough and getting close to stage condition, there are less things that you need to manipulate. The more things that you try to adjust, the more potential there is for things to go wrong. And realistically, at least for myself, my coach, if there is a option to have something be a 10% improvement, but potentially a 20% detriment, that's not worth the trade-off. So we keep things simple, we keep things consistent, and then if we do need to change anything, whether it's water or sodium or carbs or output in this case, we pull that back. So when we came out of the back end of the Vancouver show, we pushed cardio pretty hard. So added 60 minutes of stairs in, trying to create as much of a deficit out of the back end of that show when I was fresh and fed as possible. So Monday we came back, it was 174. Today we're looking at, a week from that, and I was 168.4 this morning. So we are down 168.4, 5.6 pounds, I think. No, 6.6 pounds. That's math for you. Brain is running on steam and dreams at this point. But oh man, what am I doing? Anyway, I have been yapping for long enough. I'm going to get tucked into this meal, watch some YouTube. That'll take probably all of 3 to 5 minutes. And then I will come back when I have something more interesting or relevant to talk about and to do. Most of the day at this point is just going to be honestly chilling, feet up, meals, rest, and lots of Ghosts of Yotai. Yotai? Tomato, potato. Like I said, we are in and around 8,000 of our determined 10 to 12 for the day. So most of our output is boxed off. I got to go train legs a little bit later today. Nothing crazy, just kind of one final leg session. So that'll probably look like adductor, leg curl, leg extension, hip thrust, calves, abs, posing. The goal for this week is to get posing routine sorted. Music's been picked and sent over. We got some banger choices. Shout out to video game designers for making sensational soundtracks. Yeah, that's the plan of attack for today. So tag along. It's going to be pretty low energy, low excitement, but we're doing the do. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Alrighty. We are in for meal number 2, of which we've got broccoli, and some chicken. Now what I like to do is fill a Tupperware with a bunch of broccoli. I buy it frozen, and then I just kind of fill it with water, let it thaw out, squeeze out as much of that water from the broccoli as you can. And then because this is something that I eat every day, I kind of just throw a couple days worth in there. I'm a big fan of just making bulk amounts of food. So chicken, beef, zucchini, and broccoli, I'll just make big Tupperwares, and then I'll just portion it out every single day as I have the time to do so. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna grab this scale, and then we are going to measure out our stuff, which is pretty simple. 100 grams of broccoli, 250 grams of chicken breast. Exciting stuff. Now, some people use a knife for all of their prep work, and although I do agree that that is a wonderful tool, it has a lot of function, I'm a big scissors guy. I like using scissors, whether that's to cut up chicken or, in this case, cut up 100 grams of broccoli. More bites means more food. Not actually, but that's what I've convinced myself of. Also, eating with chopsticks, smaller utensils, yada yada. Those are all things that are gonna help with the illusion of eating more food, which at this point, I'll take. There we are, 102. Need myself a lid. Bada bing, bada boom. There's our broccoli for a couple days. Pan looks like it's sizzling. Almost, not quite as exciting as I was hoping for that to be. Now we grab our chicken. Everything, like I said before with the last meal, is unseasoned and unexciting because we are trying to keep our sodium as consistent as possible. 125, 150, 250. Holy jeez, 125 per meal. Right now I'm doing 6 meals a day, but I like to push my chicken and broccoli together and my beef and zucchini together, which would have been meal 1. However, we don't have enough beef, so I need to go do groceries, of which I'm just going to go do that post-workout because my gym that I go to is right around the corner from my grocery store, so I can do a nice little back home. Also, we're sitting at just over 8,000 steps, so I do want to be mindful of that because as per the coach and his instruction, today we are sitting at 10 to 12,000 steps for the day, and as a person who doesn't drive and walks everywhere, I have a habit of going over my steps almost every day. So if there was ever a time to be more on it and not go over, it's going to be peak week. The goal for this week is to drop as much inflammation in the legs as we can, and we do that by kicking our feet up, eating food, playing PS5. Now, I'm still trying to figure out what some good angles are in my kitchen. It's not super ideal with where the stovetop is. I do wish I had kind of like the stove and then on the other side of it like a kitchen island or something like that, so it would be a little bit of a better angle. You're not seeing the side of my head or the back of my noggin. But I do think that this, man, I'm getting cold already. Let's just pull these up. Whew. Downside of being very lean in prep, hands, feet, always frosty. The missus got me some North Face booties, which I saw a lot of in ski towns. And now that I finally own a pair, I get it. I get it. They're great. They're a fantastic addition to anybody's wardrobe. I like slippers. I'm a big slipper guy. But we are currently in a position where my slippers are very old and dated. So the North Face boots do a good job of keeping me warm. We got a runner. Well, my previous notion of making your food last a little bit longer and taste better, you know. Chopsticks. If you don't know how to use them, I don't know, watch a YouTube video or something. It's pretty simple. There's some hack tools out there, which are kind of neat, kind of interesting. I think it's kind of funny. Chopsticks are not particularly hard to use, but if you struggle to use them and you want to learn how, there's some weird 5-minute tips and tricks videos on that. Practice makes perfect, I guess, but just warming up this, get a little sizzle, little sear going on that. And then we're just going to sit down, munch away, and chill. And I'll come back to you when I got something more exciting going on. Also, something I forgot. All of our water for the day is also measured out. So we are currently doing, oh, that looks splendid. We are currently doing 4.5 liters of water a day. I've got a nice big water jug over here. The goated Whistler water, which is basically just a big jug that I fill from my tap. So it is unfortunately not glacier made, but this is our water for the day. Try and get most of that in the morning to hydrate, as well as keep me satiated. So try to get more water in before and around my training, and then I kind of pull that off as the day gets later because there is less of a need for it. But as you can see, this is a riveting and exciting meal number 2 / meal number 3, of which we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Grab our nice little mixture of salt and then sprinkle a bunch of that over top, because in the same capacity as the water, H2O, I do like to get most of my salt and sodium in and around the morning and around training especially. Everything is pretty limited right now, so if I can optimize my water and my sodium to give me a little bit better muscle contractions, pumps, gym session, and I try to do that where I can. So like I said, we end up front loading a lot of our water and sodium. I got about probably 2.5 hours ish before I'm going to make my way to the gym, so I'll eat this, and then about an hour and a half I'll make up my pre-meal, which is just delicious, and I can't wait for it every single day. It's a highlight of my day. It's simple. It's oats, whey drip, dark chocolate, fruit, but the way that it all comes together is just je ne sais quoi. So good, so nice. So anyway, I'm gonna sit down on the couch. Oh, Chef Ramsay, sit down. Alrighty, so we have pre-workout meal. about to go down, of which it is sensational. Got 50 grams of oats made on the stovetop. Add a little bit of water, mix it up, add a little bit of water, mix it up, add a little bit of water, mix it up. Increases the volume. As you can see, it's a lot of oats. And then what I do is I put it in the microwave because I like getting the outside a little bit more crispy than the middle. And then we've got 30 grams of whey mixed into a lovely drip. Went with Rocky Road today. 10 grams of dark chocolate. I cut it up, throw it in there while I'm making it up so it's little flavor bits. 50 grams of raspberries, our salt and low salt concoction sprinkled in there. I do a decent amount because it's pre-training meal, so I'd like to be as salted as possible. And then 50 grams of fruit, of which I like raspberries. Been doing raspberries all prep. Goes well with the chocolate. Get a good contrast. And then we have ourselves a lovely cup of coffee and another 500-ish mils I've been sipping away worth of water. And I will tuck into this with the tiniest spoon that I have in my arsenal. Holy shit, that bowl's hot. It's heavenly. It's about as good as that meal can get. And I try to make that last as long as possible, because once it's gone, I have to wait until tomorrow to have it again, and that is far too long to wait. So I'm gonna munch this, and then that'll be legs in about 30, 45-ish minutes. So we'll be at the gym for about 3 o'clock. And then we'll bust out legs, the last little bit of our steps, walk over to the grocery store, get that ground beef that we were missing for this morning's meal, grab some extra bits and bobs, and then come back home, prep that up, and kick our feet up for the rest of the day. Rest and recover, because tomorrow we do it all over again. Well, apologies. I didn't bring you along for the post-workout meal, which is 60 grams of Rice Krispie cereal, 30 grams of whey, and 100 grams of fruit. If any of you are familiar with the bloat bowl, basically dry cereal, whey drip, fruit, mix it up. Delicious. That's the post-workout meal. Legs was good. Conditioning is coming along nicely, which is what we want. Take another hot bath tonight. Try and shift off a little bit more water, see if we can get more detail to come through the legs. Scale weight, not super important right now, but you get to a certain degree in prep where, at least for me, I know it's not the only important thing, but I do get a little hyper fixated on if it's not going down, it feels like a day wasted. Or a day not progressing, but we're at a point now where visuals matter far more than scale weight. So typically, if the body is dropping weight, the visuals should be better. We should be tighter. We should be leaner. We should see more condition, more lines, etc. So hopefully that is something that is going to happen tomorrow. I have my last meal here, which is the remaining 125 ground beef and 50 zucchini that we didn't have in meal one because I didn't have enough of it in my fridge. So went and did some groceries, did some meal prep, cooked up some stuff. We're all set. Plan for tomorrow, get a good night's sleep, wake up, and run it back. Rinse and repeat, the exact same thing. I fly out to Calgary on Thursday, and we will start loading carbs and food in Thursday during that travel day. So I don't know what this is going to look like, how frequently this is going to be a thing. Right now I have the time to do it, so thanks for tagging along for the day. Kind of a pseudo full day of eating type deal, minus a meal, with just a lot of my kitchen and my couch. Maybe next time we'll go outside, huh? See some exciting sights. See what the world has to offer. But for right now, I'm gonna get tucked into this and watch some YouTube, and then I think one of my buddies is gonna hop on in a bit, play some games, hop on Discord, chat with the homies, go to bed at a reasonable time. Yeah, it was a good day. I have some feathering coming through in my quads, which is a first. It only took 45 plus pounds of weight loss for that to happen, but we got there in the end. Anywho, this is me. This is my day at 5 days out from WMBF Calgary. And if any of this was interesting, intriguing, educational, informative, entertaining, any of those things, stick around, because there's probably going to be some more of this.